Afterwards. It was absolutely beautiful. And just so you all know, that was the South African premiere. That piece has never been performed in South Africa before. So, fantastic. So my name is Ingrid Wild. I'm the Director of Arts Education at the Grahamstown Foundation. And welcome to a glorious 5 days of soaking up the arts. We have a fabulous program for you where we celebrate masters of their craft in writers, directors, performers, filmmakers, and all aspects of the arts. What does the Arts Education Department do? as well as the provincial festivals for all 9 provinces and this fantastic National Schools Festival for grade 12s in Grahamstown. We also are home to the English Olympiad. This national exam was written by over 8,000 candidates this year and continues to grow each year, encouraging young people to write critically, creatively and sensitively. You will find more about the Olympiads in your programs, and we also run the Eastern Cape House Stedford and the Amapico Township Dance Project. And the Grahamstown Foundation is also home to the National Science Festival and also to the National Arts Festival, so we are a very busy space. We have some special guests with us this morning who are supporters of our wonderful programme, and I'd just like to briefly welcome them. We have Gail Campbell, Letty Miles and Fundis Vaseo from the Xenex Foundation. A little bit more about them later. We have Mr. Ishmael Mohammed, Artistic Director of the National Arts Festival, and Mr. Beezy Clayton, Executive Director of the Grahamstown Foundation, Dr. Peter Clayton, Deputy Vice-Chancellor of Rhodes University, and Dr. Ian Lange, who's Executive Director of Planning and Operation at Rhodes University. We also have Amy Jane Harkis, who is a Rhodes University student and designer of the school's festivals poster. We also have, and I hope you all agree that we think it's absolutely beautiful, and we love the logo, so I hope you do too. We also have Mr. Govin Reddy from the ELET School Xenex program and Mr. Mervyn Ogle, the ELET Director. We have Janet Marks from the Oppenheimer Memorial Trust. We have Yvette Hardy from Acetage. We have Professor Jeff Antrobus, who is Chairman of the Grahamstown Foundation Council. And we have Mr. Niels Hughes, who is a member of that same council. We have Tolani Manaraneng and Seretsi Leo from Pakovs in the Free State. We have Tony Lancaster, who is the CEO of the National Arts Festival. And we hopefully have a representative from the Eastern Cape Department of Sports, Recreation, Arts and Culture. All of you know Festi well. So congratulations to all the learners for being here. And a big thank you to all the teachers, parents, guardians, families, organisations who have helped you to get here. Without your amazing teachers, you would not be here, because they are the ones who help us to drive this programme, and they give up their time and their holidays to be here with you. So can we please have a round of applause for fabulous. And now I'd like to ask Dr. Peter Clayton to come and welcome you on behalf of Rhodes University. Thank you, Dr. Clayton.
Good morning, everybody. It's a great thrill to see you all here filling up this beautiful theatre. So I welcome you on behalf of Rhodes University. I think most of you are staying in the residences at Rhodes University. If you're not, just look down the hill. It's very difficult to miss in a village the size of Grahamstown. We are a small university. We used to boast that we were the smallest university in South Africa. We were quite proud of that, funnily enough, but the minister started 2 new universities recently, and they have almost no students, so we're no longer this. So we are a small university, and we pride ourselves in the fact that we're relatively small, but we go for high quality. What we do, we try to be the best at. And so if you're that kind of person, and the kind of offerings we have suits you in what you want in your career, then while you're here, I'm sure you'll be able to find out more about what we do. But high quality in that we're very proud that we have the highest throughput rate at both the undergraduate and the highest pass rate at the undergraduate, the highest throughput rate at the postgraduate level of all South African universities. We're amongst the top 3 universities in research outputs. We are proud of that. I tell you, the others are. It's UCT and Stellenbosch that we vie with. And so that's really where we position ourselves. High quality, we're serious about education, so if you are too, that's something that we could talk about. I'd like to just talk about one area that we offer, because that's highly relevant to this festival of English language, drama and dance. The theatre that you're sitting in is called the Guy Butler Theatre. And Guy Butler was a person who seeded, he was a poet and a writer. I'm sure some of you have seen his poems in the anthologies that you have at school. He was the head of English at Rhodes University, and he seeded a whole lot of wonderful things that live on, including this festival. So he was an entrepreneurial poet, I think, if you could call him that. But while he was head of English at Rhodes University, he was one of the people who mooted the idea of building this building as a memorial, as a living kind of monument, to do all kinds of wonderful things in. And of course he was pushing the English language and drama and the arts. And so the festival sprung out of his kind of vision. But not only that, on the Rhodes campus he started all kinds of things. He mooted the drama department, and you will see many graduates from Rhodes in your program this week. And you can decide for yourself whether you think they're the greatest drama department on the continent or not. I think they are. He also started a department of linguistics and English language. He started journalism and media studies at Rhodes and included that. And of course many other people have contributed along the way, but I think Rhodes is without a doubt the top journalism and media studies university on the African continent. He started the Institute for the Study of English in Africa. He was instrumental in getting the National English Literary Museum going. So a man who has left a huge legacy, both here in the Grahamstown Foundation and the kind of projects that we have in the Schools Festival, the National Arts Festival, and on the Rhodes University campus. So it's a wonderful place if you're interested in studying the English language in the context of Africa and the kinds of things around it. A wonderful place to do that. There are many other things that Rhodes University offers as well, but I'm going to let you find those out for yourself during this week. So I'll just leave you with that short message and say enjoy the week. I think it's the most exciting opportunity. I think you're hugely lucky to be here. Just enter into it with all that you've got. You can sleep on the bus on the way home, do everything that you can while you're here. Fantastic time.
Thank you, Dr. Clayton. We have a wonderful synergy with Rhodes University, and it's fantastic that you all get to stay in the Rhodes residences and that we really engage with the campus so you can get a real feel for Rhodes. So we're very grateful for the work that they assist us in. I'd now like to call on Ms. Louisa Clayton, who is the Executive Director of the Grahamstown Foundation, to welcome you on behalf of the Grahamstown Foundation. Thank you, Louisa.
Good morning, everybody. This theatre looks its very best when it's filled with all our grade 12s from all around the country. It's such a privilege to have you with us. On behalf of the Grahamstown Foundation, I warmly welcome all of you to this 40th National Schools Festival and to this magnificent facility, the 1820 Settlers National Monument, and this flagship venue for all our festivals. And as Dr. Clayton has just pointed out, the Guy Butler Theatre. I particularly want, Ingrid welcomed all our VIPs here this morning, but I particularly want to thank some of them. And I want to thank Mrs. Janet Marks for being with us this morning. She's come especially for this from the Oppenheimer Memorial Trust. And the Oppenheimer Memorial Trust very generously approached us this year. Janet Marks is familiar with these projects and has been involved with them before. And Janet, thank you for your belief in the value of these projects and for the invitation from the Oppenheimer Memorial Trust to apply for funds. And it's due to these funds and a very large contingent of funds from the National Arts Council and funding from the Xenex Foundation that we've been getting for a number of years that we're able to pull this festival off at all this year. And I want to thank Gail Campbell, who's also in the audience with us this morning, and her colleagues from the Xenex Foundation. I believe there are a whole row of you because you've come here for other reasons as well. And in fact, the Xenex Foundation has 55 grade 12s in this audience this morning, and they're supporting us in that way. And we thank the National Arts Council, who are absent this morning, but their funds are not. And the CEO, Rosemary Michael, for that. And I want you to give our sponsors a very warm thank you for that. And then I want to thank our associated institutions. The National Arts Festival is key to this festival. This festival was started 40 years ago as the feeder festival for the National Arts Festival to build audiences, because the National Arts Festival was 40 last year. They're 41 this year. And the organisers, Guy Butler and his committee, the festival's committee, said that they needed to build audiences. They better get some young people involved in this festival so that they would have future audiences for future National Arts Festivals. And so we're very bonded at the hip. We're a family in this organisation. And Mr. Tony Lancaster and Mr. Ishmael Mohammed are key, and their entire team, who are all exhausted, but I'm sure they're all in the office this morning after 11 days. But we have the two key people with us in the audience this morning, and I just want to thank you both very much for being here and for everything you contribute to our festivals in this way. And to reiterate the thanks to Rhodes University, who are represented quite well here this morning, for what they do with us to make these projects work. Also, Yvette Hardy with Asitej does lots of work with us. So we can't do these things without these people, and I just want you to understand how much we appreciate you. And then I want to thank our councillors who are with us this morning. We definitely couldn't do it without them. And it's lovely when they're able to come to these events and experience them firsthand. So thank you to Professor Antros and Niels Jonas and Dr. Lounge for being with us this morning as well. And the Eastern Cape Department of Sports, Recreation, Arts and Culture, Mr. Grootboom, I believe he's here. I haven't seen him yet, but very warm welcome to you. And then our keynote speaker, earlier Dr. Clayton said, you'll meet Rhodes graduates and you can decide whether they're the best or lucky you getting the professor from the department as your keynote speaker this morning. Great friend of the festival. He's been doing this for 4 decades, actually. So he's 40 with us, Andrew. We'll call you that for now. And then just to say that monuments have been the subject of much discussion this year. And I can't tell you how excited we are about that. And previously, we seemed not to care about our monuments. But now we do. We have opinions. Do they stay? Do they go? Do they deserve our respect? Do they deserve our derision? Do we know their history? Do we care? What do they symbolize? What purpose do they serve? And I want to talk about our purpose, because the imaginative concept behind this living monument was the desire to be mindful about the past while working actively in the present to shape a just and democratic future. A solemn reminder of our conflicted past, this monument, through its projects, encourages the principles and ideals of the South African Constitution. At the highest level, the purpose of the Grahamstown Foundation and the role it plays in society can be aligned with values articulated in the South African Constitution, recognizing the injustices of the past, respecting those who have worked to build and develop our country, firm in the belief that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, united in our diversity. Practically, in terms of operational values, since opening the monument in July 1974, 41 years ago, with the National Arts Festival, the first one, as its flagship project, they lie in fostering the constitutional freedoms of expression, speech and association, and firm in the belief that education is critical to enlivening these values to create a better life for all, so that all might have life and have it more abundantly. And you'll see some of these words peeping out under the dance floor in the fountain court, but we've covered up the fountain and we've covered up some of those words, but I think have life more appears peeping out from under the dance floor. This monument, whose design is influenced, for those of you studying architecture, by the architect Louis Kahn, creates a creative intellectual space and a community of practice that enables freedom of expression and association and fosters open debate. And we expect you to engage with these things while you are here. Talk about what you see. Say the things that you think. Hear what other people say. Have an engagement, have a debate, and continue having it all the way home on the bus and into your classrooms and into the rest of your year and into your lives as you go forward. I want to leave you with a little piece of my own theatre, and we're going to create a storm. I can't resist doing this with an audience like this. So if you think of a Mexican wave, I'm going to start over on my left. I'll give you an action, and you just keep doing it until I come back to you and change the action. So you all need to be very quiet, and then just follow me. And don't stop until I come back to you and change the action.
I'd now like to ask Ismail Mohammed, who is the Artistic Director of the National Arts Festival, and we have a wonderful synergy with the National Arts Festival. They help us to source all sorts of material, productions, artists, workshop leaders for this festival and also our festivals around the country. So I'd just like to personally thank Ismail Mohammed and Tony Lancaster for all the support that they give to our programs throughout the country and throughout the year. So Ismail, if you'd like to come up and say a few words of welcome on behalf of the National Arts Festival.
Good morning everyone and welcome to Grahamstown, and that's on behalf of the National Arts Festival as well as Heritage South Africa, which I'm also representing. Ingrid mentioned that it's the 40th anniversary of this festival, and I think that's a massive milestone. But I think you're even more lucky here in that you celebrate this milestone birthday with two other iconic birthdays. This festival starts this week, today, on the birthday of Wole Soyinka, one of Africa's greatest authors and thought leaders. He was also the first Nobel Prize winner in Africa. This festival also ends on the birthday of another Nobel Prize winner, this century's greatest political leader, Nelson Mandela. Both men were born in rural villages, and despite their circumstances, they grew up to take the world by storm. I am hopeful that all of you sitting in this auditorium will draw inspiration from that, and particularly from what you get in this week, which is sandwiched between their birthdays. Soyinka said, "Art gives you a vision, and it gives you solace. As you enjoy the productions that you attend this week, I trust that you will find enjoyment, you'll be challenged, and you'll be inspired. As you engage with the productions, you might find that some of them may throw you out of your comfort zones. If that happens, fall back on the advice of Nelson Mandela. He said, keep a good head and a good heart. It's always a formidable combination." To the National Schools Festival and the Grahamstown Foundation, congratulations on bringing this festival to its 40th year celebrations. To the teachers who are here, and to those of you who come before you, a world of gratitude to you for your commitment, your passion, and the vision that you offer to young people to enjoy an education beyond the four walls of the classroom. To you, the students, who are going to celebrate the 40th anniversary of this festival, I'd like you to reflect for a moment on 1976. It was a year with enormous political turmoil in our country, but it was a turning point in our country's history. The students of that generation brought us the democracy that we can all enjoy today. Next year, we commemorate the 40th anniversary of their struggles. In doing so, let us use this opportunity to remember that it is our responsibility to use the pillars of the hard-won democracy that we have all won to continue the struggles for equality and social justice. I'd like to close with reflecting on the wisdom of Wole Soyinka. He said that books and all forms of writing and art have always been the object of terror to those who seek to oppress the truth. This week, as you watch the plays and exhibitions, you will make new discoveries. I hope that that will be the journey that will unravel many truths for you. Thank you and enjoy the festival.
Thank you, Ismail. They really do put on an amazing festival, and we hope that you will be great supporters of the arts next year, and you'll all be back at the National Arts Festival to enjoy all that it has to offer. I'd now like to pay tribute, a little bit of history, to those who have made this programme what it is today. I'll start with Hugh Nestor, who first ran the schools festivals, an exceptional teacher and the first arts education director, as it were. Then Janet Buckland, who moulded the festival into the amazing experience that it is today. Louisa Clayton, who I've already heard, who magnificently managed the festivals. and who is now in a position as Chief Executive, continues to support and encourage the programme. And Neville Engelbrecht, who carried forward the wonderful work. I'd also like to thank the permanent staff of the Grahamstown Foundation, who work with us and support us throughout the year as we run 9 provincial festivals. We curate 10 festivals a year, so we are busy, busy. They are a fabulous team who work in this building behind the scenes, and I would just like to thank them. They are here with us this morning. Lumka Klaas, Griffiths Sokieka, Brendan Vessels, David Allen, Nomonde Mpofu, Skumbuzo Vena, Priscilla Buffet, Debbie Mills, Claire Dupré, and Gareth Ndumo. And I really would like to give them a round of applause, because we couldn't do what we do without them, and they're behind the scenes. And finally, I'd like to give a thank you to some special VIP staff who work in my office. I'd like to say thank you to Jane Brindley, who so ably and with so many smiles and laughter runs the English Olympiad. And then to my festival team. We are a small team. You all deal with Benita Rama, who is the most amazing support in the office and works tirelessly with the schools. And last of all, to the amazing Lily May, who has been in the Schools Festivals office for 27 years. She is extraordinary. Yes, I think you should give her a some amazing alumni, if we can call them that. People who have been touched by this programme have become bankers, doctors, teachers, dancers, poets, actors, filmmakers, etc. I would have you here all day if I was to read you out a list of people who have found our grade 11 and particularly this grade 12 festival very inspirational. And I'd like to give a special thank you here to one alumni, Theo Landy, who is an actor, singer. He's a fabulous artist. He is a film, TV and stage performer of some significance. He first sang Isa Ngumoso, which had its essay premiere here this morning, in the Carnegie Hall in New York. The piece comes from the States, and this is the first time that Christopher Tin, who is the composer, will hear via the snippet that we have filmed this morning, his piece sung entirely by Xhosa speakers, and I think that's amazing. So thank you, Theo, for so generously giving of your time and being with us this morning. And finally, I would very briefly like to make public for the first time our 4400 campaign. It's our 40th birthday, which is aimed at creating a small pool of sustainable funding for our programme. We want to encourage everyone who's ever come to a schools festival, national or provincial, and found their lives changed in some way, whether in a big way or a little way, that their lives were enriched and they thought out of the box, to make a gift of 400 Rand, which is approximately the cost of a delegate at one of our provincial festivals. To make it possible for a delegate who cannot afford to come to a festival, to attend, or to ensure that we continue to provide amazing, innovative and stimulating work at our festivals. There will be no follow-up. It's a once-off gift to continue to run a programme that I think is extraordinary and changes the lives of so many young South Africans. The campaign will be run through social media, and the official launch of this campaign will take place at the Gauteng Schools Festival on the 1st of September. And from then on, there will be the possibility to make donations online via our website and by the foundation website. I would now like to introduce a friend of mine and the most amazing performer, Andrew Butland. He is a theatre icon who actually changed the face of South African theatre. He is an amazing and extraordinary artist, and more than that, he is a very beautiful human being. He has had a long relationship with this festival, and we felt it fitting that in our 40th year, we should ask him to address us. Thank you, Andrew.
Honored guests and delegates, I welcome you. What?
keynote of any festival, and especially a festival like this, should be not speaking, but listening. So it's amazing when someone stands up here and starts going, everyone's ears go, boing. Am I missing something? That attention is what I recommend we engage with, and that you think about as a keynote, not just for this festival, but for your lives. That we give our attention to what is happening around us, as well as to our immediate needs. So it seems abundantly clear from all the evidence that the nature of existence, at its very core, consists of a conflict of opposing forces. Molecules are bouncing off each other, even at the subatomic level. Electromagnetic forces and gravitational forces are attracting particles and repelling them, and they're all colliding together in this amazing chaotic dance through which energy materializes and manifests itself on the physical realm, where we can actually engage with. So at the core of existence, we're looking at conflict. And the same thing applies at the societal level, because we are often finding ourselves in the grip of forces that pull us together and forces that pull us apart. Now these two, at the same time as we think about that as an element of existence, the same thing applies to theatre. To theatre. If theatre and performance is a kind of essentializing of life, this also contains this amazing conflicting energy. So it's often manifested in contemporary Western theatre in the form of dialogue. Macbeth and Macduff, okay, they have a sword fight, but they do a lot of talking, different points of view. Hamlet and Ophelia, get thee to a nunnery, no I won't, yes I will. These are represented through dialogue. And I'm a big fan of physical theatre, of physical performance. That doesn't exclude the voice. The voice is part of the physical. Because it embodies conflict. The conflict does not take place in the intellectual realm. It takes place in the body of the performer. So I'm willing to bet that the majority of people in this room saw the no rope that wasn't here. And even more so, that they saw the no body that wasn't in the wings that I wasn't talking to. Okay, I wasn't. This ability, this muscle of the imagination, so the action of the performer embodies this conflict. The hands want to go this way. The body wants the rope to go this way, but the rope goes that way. This conflict of intention, of need, embodied in the body of the performer, stimulates the imagination of the audience so that they see their own version. And each individual person, how many people are in the room? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Quite a few. With their own individual version of who that person was. Maybe even what they looked like. Why they wanted the rope so badly there. Now this facility that we have is exercised specifically in the performing arts and in live performance. And this muscle, this ability to project yourself through time and space into viewing an experience from somebody else's point of view is at the heart of our ability to survive as a species. It is one of our most basic evolutionary advantages that we have. Our ability to think, the best way to catch buffalo, because we need to eat, is to think like buffalo. So what does buffalo think? Grass. So how do I get close to buffalo without going, come on, I kill you? Because buffalo will just run the other way or run at me. In order for me to understand and engage with the neighboring group of village, I have to think, what are their needs? My ability to understand, to empathize with their point of view, to see the other's point of view, to engage with that seriously, to be in the, put yourself in that person's shoes, seems to me an absolutely core element of our ability to survive as a species. And if we don't practice it, if we don't exercise that muscle, we are doomed to extinction, because we are trapped in our own version of existence, of life, and of reality, and the things that we've been told to expect, instead of opening up our understanding and our possibility of seeing what is possible in difference, in the other, and to try and see the world from their point of view. And that muscle needs to be exercised, and that's why I'm a passionate supporter, not only and specifically of the performing arts, but of the arts in general. So without that right brain activity, we get obsessed with the details of life that have been structured for us by whatever culture we've been in order to drive ourselves towards commercial success and success of being somebody, being important and making money and doing all those things, without being able to balance that with understanding and a fearlessness to confront those aspects of our lives and ourselves which cause us fear, and to confront these things that have been presented to us. So in 1998, I made a play called The Ugly Nunu. No, 1988 is at the height of the resistance of P.W. Botha and the resistance to that oppression that had now been multiplied over 400 years. And apartheid wasn't just invented by the South African. You know, it's been, this apartheid has been, and that separation and the fear of the other is very deeply, deeply embedded in us. That was, apartheid just took advantage of it. So the play was about this insect. And anyone who lives in the Gauteng or anywhere around there knows the Parktown prawn. See, if you haven't heard of it, it's a king cricket. It's about this big, and it has evolved itself to be incredibly ugly and fearsome. So look, big mandibles that stick out like this, pointless, no use for them at all, except to say, be scary, so that other things don't want to eat them. Their major defense mechanism is to jump at you. And they're not going, ah, they're going, go, it's terrifying. It's big. But humans, when they see that thing in their house, or in their shoe, they often like to go into, they don't go, ooh, let's somebody take the thing away. They do this. Out of scale, what the thing is threatening them. This fear translates itself instantly into violence. And that, certainly in 1988, was a very, very accurate analogy for what had been happening in the country for 400 years. Those people, even the organizations that formed the ANC, were going to the colonial government and to the nationalist government and saying, excuse me, you need to negotiate with us. If you look around you, you must see the future contains a change here, and you need to engage with that. And the constant response was, so you might hear people of my generation saying, I think it's for me. No. You might hear people saying, or your own generation saying, the results of apartheid. Please, apartheid is gone, okay? Look at the schools. We integrated lots of friends in different cultures and different indigenous backgrounds, you know. Let's forget it. Can I stop hearing about that, please? But I regret to tell you that that is not something that is exclusive to this country or this history, that it is deeply embedded in ourselves as human beings. This fear of the other that quickly translates itself into violence. That's been expressed recently in the xenophobic attacks. That fear, that violence, is not just because they want to kill somebody, but the fear is directed at the thing which is other from themselves. And unless we, individually and as a group of human beings, actively engage with that part of ourselves and acknowledge that it is there and deal with it, it will come back to bite us, and it will dominate the choices that we make in life, unless we actively engage with it. And the key mechanism for doing that is through the arts. All forms of the arts. Standing in front of a painting and looking at it, and your rational mind is going, I don't know what the hell this is. And I don't know what it means. And I'm feeling quite stupid because everyone else is going, yeah. What? What did you mean by just painting the canvas white? What's this supposed to mean? And allowing yourself to just say, this is what it's making me feel. And that's how feeling it feels, not what your rational mind has got. That you exercise your right brain activity, that you're sitting in a theater, watching someone just do this, waving their hands about, you know, pretending that they're stuck in a box or whatever it is. But in your imagination, things are happening, and the exchange is happening, and the possibility of change is explored, and the possibility of difference, and the ability to empathize, to look at the world from another person's point of view. That, if we don't engage with that, we are doomed, not only as a country, but as a species. So you're coming to a time in your lives of great change. What are you doing? How long is it going? So you're coming to, you know, leave school, probably, hopefully, leave home. Your parents. Maybe take care of your own rent. Maybe study somewhere, be in a completely new environment, new friends, new clubs, new music, new scenes, new action, complete change. And most of the advice that you get from the people who really love you will be careful. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And don't come back with a tattoo and all change like your sister. But I am here to encourage you, to challenge you, to open your arms and your heart and engage with that change with every fiber of your being. The possibility, the potential that is offered by difference, by change, by things that are unfamiliar to you, and that you don't make choices, especially not choices that have been made for you, or that you think have been made for you, or that you think are more comfortable for you. Ishmael spoke about production putting you out of your comfort zone. Dive in there, I encourage you. Because it's dangerous to experiment in real life, you know? You don't experiment with unprotected sex. Don't take every chemical substance that's offered you. Don't drink and drive. Protect yourself. You need to be careful. That's why in a festival like this, it is especially designed and constructed for you to do that. See what it's like. So I encourage you in the days to come, especially, unzip here. Unzip here and think long and hard before you unzip here. at the university that is probably soon to be previously known as Rhodes. And much of the time when I speak to students, I encourage them to actively engage in activities and experiences that are drawn from other cultures, because we still do not have enough of that experience in our lives. And the Arts Festival is especially designed to do that as well. So in the spirit of trying to engage in other cultural experiences and performance styles, I humbly offer you an Umlungu Imbongo, a praise poem to the school's festival.
Yes.
I actually don't mind if you have your phones with you. I know lectures I get very cross because the lecture's going on and some of the class are going, and it could be Facebook, okay, or it could be someone going, Sid, so they could be doing research right on the phone, right there. So I trust you. If you're on the phone and you WhatsApping your business, but also listen to what's going on around you at the same time, because I know my generation is not used to multitasking the way you are able to. You have 3 mechanisms going at the same time, you know what they're doing and be in control. So get better at that as well as the school life. From the poor to the Rani. From here to the Tower of Pisa. I'm calling. Now listen. If you listen, you'll hear. But only if you pull that greasy finger out your ear. The cold and damp ashes of your lives in the street. Get up off wet backsides and onto your feet. Come and gaze in wet wonder at the fire that we've got in this house. Tell you what, it's pretty but sweet apricot. Shorten the elastic on your bruker. Get a vice-like grip on your seat. Strap on your helmet, buckle up your belt, and dust off the cheese from your feet. Sharpen your senses of wonder. Abandon your hat and disguise. Unscrew your nails, loosen your ties, and the shades will be lifted from your eyes. There will be singing of such joy and such a sadness that you will cancel your tickets to Perth. And such dancing, you will swear that it's possible to hear the pounding of the heart of the earth. Viva Grahamstown Foundation Schools Festivals! Pambili! The delegates of the 2015 National Schools Festival, Pambili! Pambili!
That we pay wonderful respects to Ingrid Wild, and I'm just going to call up on Benita Rama to just say a few words for her. Benita, are you around? Where are you?
Good morning, everybody. I just want to pay tribute to Ingrid Wild. Thank you so much for being such an amazing director and for putting up a wonderful program for everyone. Enjoy your week, and thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Okay, I had no idea that was going to happen. I thought Christy, who is our production and technical manager, had an important announcement to give, something like there's a fire in the building, would everybody please leave? So I'm very glad it wasn't a fire, and I'm very glad it was only a lovely thank you. Thank you to my team. And I must say, I love every minute of the job that I do. I think it's absolutely wonderful. Sometimes they're exhausting days and nights, but every time you get to a festival and there's such a lovely response from you guys, it just feeds the warm heart. So it's wonderful. Okay, I would now like to ask and invite everybody to stand while the VG choir lead us in the singing of the National Anthem, and then the VIPs are free to leave, and we'll get down to the nuts and bolts and the delegates' information for this festival. So if we could all please stand for singing the National Anthem, and they will raise the curtain on the choir again. Thank you.
Imvula iza kubuya ezulwini